All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and in particular, Jeff Teaches Programming C#. And I'm going to hopefully quickly, take a step back because just to remind you of what we've been working on, okay? What we've done, and I'm not going to show everything, of course, but we have created 3 iterations of a BMI console program. All right. And what we did was we came in, we've added constants, we've added functions, we went over looping a little bit, etc. All right. And it does work as far as I know. So let's quickly bring it up. So if I run this, let's tell me I got errors. Oh, I know what it is. I've got to set this as my startup project. There we go. Now we should be okay. Okay, so there you see it. And I can come in here now, and if I don't put in a height, it says no height input. If I put in something non-numeric, it says it's non-numeric. If I put in something out of range, it says that it's out of range. And it does that for both the height and the weight. And if I do put in 72 and 111, for example, I get everything I'm supposed to get. Okay, so we've got that done, and that's good. The other thing that we've done is I've got in here, and I don't know if this is, this might be, this is bad. So I'm just going to remove this whole project here. Before I do that, let's make sure I'm in the right place. Second iteration BMIGUIV. So remove. Yes. Doesn't matter about saving. So it's gone from there now. And let's see if it removed the folder as well. It did not. So let's get rid of that folder. All right, I found this article online. And what they were talking about in the article was the, quote, safe way, unquote, to go and copy a project from one thing to another. Now, you know, if you look in here, what we want to copy right now is basically this. Now, what is this? Second GUI app. Oh, okay. We want to copy this first iteration of our BMIGUIV. Get rid of that, it's the wrong one. So this first iteration of the BMIGUIV, which looks like this, and it does work. I'm not going to run it for you, but it does work. Now that I look at that real quick, we're missing a paren right there, so let's put that in. There. All right, so we've got this working copy here, and I want to make a copy of it because this particular copy, or this original, has everything inside of main. Well, it sort of does. Let's put it that way. It's got, actually, it's in the buttons, but I'm writing the code right in the buttons, and that's not really a good idea. All right, and there's a lot of reasons that it's not a good idea. But one main reason, just if you thought about it already, what we'll get to eventually, is what if we had a menu up here? And we've got a calculate and a clear and an exit. All right? All the code's in calculate, and we really don't want calculate, or if we have a calculate menu option, to call calculate click there, right there. That's just not good coding. All right? Now, most C# apps, including GUI apps, have a lot of different files that are linked together. If you look in here, we've got properties, we've got references, and they both open up to other things. We've got an app config, we've got this form file, which has got a designer in it and a resx, and we've got our C# program.cs file in there. All right, so you can't just copy these from one to the other. You have to make some changes. So what they, again, created in there was what they call the, quote, safe, unquote, way of doing this. And they recommend, so I'm going to follow this idea. All right, and it says first, what we should do is create a new project. We're in Visual Studio, so I'm going to right mouse click, choose Add, New Project. All right, it will be an Windows Forms app, C# Windows Forms app, .NET Framework, sorry, right here. Okay, so we'll do that next, and it asks for the name. Well, now we'll give it a name, so it'll be second iteration BMIGUIV. All right, it's already in the right place, in the right framework, so I'm going to say created. Now, that's all it gives me, okay? All right, so we've done that. We found the original project, and we copied over the files. All right, actually, we haven't copied over the files yet, but we will in just a minute. So let's see about copying those over. All right, let's, I don't know if I should remove this particular form right here or just rename it or what. Let's just call it, for lack of better words, let's name this one FRM temp. Okay, you can see its name's been changed there. All right, so I'm going to come back to my first iteration of the BMIGUIV, and I'm going to grab everything here under form, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go to my second iteration BMIGUIV, and I'm going to see if I can paste it. Now, the problem we may have here is this is still called form1.cs right there, and I think the one I'm going to copy in is going to be called that too. So let's call this form temp. Now, it may end up even giving us some errors. I don't know. All right, but I'm going to see now if I can copy in and now paste those other files. So there's what we had before. All right. We've got form temp and there's our form CS. So we copied over that file. We also have to copy over the CS file. Well, again, program.cs and program.cs. So let's change this one. All right, and we're going to change the name, or rename it, and we'll just call it PGM temp. Okay, it says you're renaming it. Would you like to rename all references to that? Sure. Probably shouldn't, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to come back here with this program.cs. And again, this is the one from the first iteration. So I'm going to right mouse click and copy, come to my second iteration, and I'm going to paste. So now I've got those copied in. All right, so what I did was I copied over the .cs file and the form file with all the things underneath it. Okay, all right. Now, the problem that we may have, and this might not even work, and if it doesn't, I'll just try it again, is this is at form temp, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to delete that. And I've also got this program temp, and I'm going to delete that as well. Okay? All right. So now, if I look in here, I've got some stuff, but let's open this, and let's view the code. So we might have to do some naming stuff in here. So again, this will have to be called second iteration. And now it's giving me this error and it says initialize component. So I'm not going to do that yet. All right, it doesn't like me trying to do that. Let's look at the code here. All right. And we've got here FRM BMI. Well, let's change the name of our form. So it is that. So I'm going to come in here and say it is FRM BMI. All right. I'm not even sure if this is yet part of the project. All right. So if I tried running it right now, my guess is it wouldn't work at all. So let's just look here. if we bring this up, I've got new form. It's not showing me any errors, and that's good. I don't think I have to change anything in here. Let's just run it and see what happens. Oops, I've got to make that my active program. Sorry about that. So it is showing that one. Now let's do this. Let's make sure it's showing us the right one. So let's come to this form. Let's just change the color of it. Choose the next one over there. And we'll change these as well. All right. Finally, let's change this to C# body mass index iteration 02. All right. So we've got our second iteration now. So let's do a file, save all, and let's run this. Just make sure it brings up the right one. Okay, iteration 2. Let's see if it works. Well, actually, it's not going to work. We don't have our, maybe it will. Let's try it. It is working. All right, and that's good. Now, have I done everything I'm supposed to do? I'm not even sure. All right. Now, the biggest problem we may have here is, again, with namespaces, because this still says first iteration BMIGUIV. All right, and I'm not sure if I change it, it doesn't like it in this file. Okay, so I'm going to at least try to leave it as it is. All right, and I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, but we're going to try it. So let's make a couple changes in here. I'm going to close this. I'm going to leave that open. I'm going to leave that. Let's just close everything, and we'll make sure we're working with the right stuff here. Okay. All right, so let's open up the form, and we'll view our code. And this is iteration 2. All right, and what are we going to add here? Well, in this program, we will create functions rather than putting the code directly in under the button click events. As an aside, this will help when we introduce menus later. All right, so we're going to create functions. That's the biggest thing in here. All right, so what I want to do, I've already got a lot of the stuff done. Okay, but I'm going to write some functions right now. I'm going to put them down at the bottom of my program. Okay, so I'm going to add here private int get height and I'm just going to return 0 right now, otherwise I'd get an error message. Okay, so that's what we're going to use to get our height in just a minute. Private int get weight, and again, same kind of thing here. We'll just return 0. Oops. All right, we'll have a private. Yeah, we'll need that get weight status, but this will be a double, and it'll be calculate BMI. And again, we'll just return 0.0. Now you notice these are all gray where it's not gray up here. They're not being called at all, and that's fine right now. Then we will private void, it's going to be a string calculate BMI status. All right, we'll return an empty string for now. And finally, we'll have a private void print all statistics. That won't need to have anything in here, so that'll work like that. Okay? Now, why did I do this? Well, I'm going to be able to copy in a lot of code. All right? Just so you know, I'm going to be able to basically copy in just about everything that I need. So let's start with where we were getting the height. We're going to keep in here int height. All right? But now I'm going to say this, where I've got all this stuff, height equals this, weight equals this, if it's empty, etc. I'm going to start by grabbing this. Okay? That's going to give me errors. Don't worry about it. Probably get errors all over the place because the way I'm going to be copying this stuff in. So we have the height string, so this will be string. Height string is going to equal that. Okay? And we're going to have the height. We're going to copy, like I said, just about everything in here. So now it says, what do we want to do? We got the weight, so now let's check for an empty height. And let's do this. Let's just grab the rest of it. All the way up to where we're talking about the weight. Okay, again, that's going to give us errors. Don't let that bother you. All right. We're just doing a bunch of copy and pasting right now. All right, so the main reason we're getting this error here is we created the height string, but we didn't create an int for height. And then a ton of our errors are going to go away once we do that. All right, so again, don't let all these errors here worry you. Okay, I think I've got a problem right now, probably, that I didn't copy over a, I'm probably right now missing a curly brace, and that's probably why I'm getting all these errors. But what I'm trying to show you here is, when we get down to here now, we've got our get height. Okay? All right, so taking it from the top, or trying to, there it is. Assign text box value. It says does not exist. Well, that's on me. We'll fix it right now. Oh, crud. All right, I'm going to have to do this. Now I could just basically, I'm going to copy everything back again. There. So I'll put in string right here. Height string. Good. All right, equals txt height.text. All right, so let's go back and let's bring up our form here. And let's see if these names all copied over. txt height, txt weight, LBL BMI, LBL BMI status, txt height, or I'm sorry, LBL height, LBL weight, LBL BMI STR, LBL BMI status STR, BTN calculate, BTN clear. Good. Okay, what I should have done, and I'm going to do it now, is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab everything like I did, but instead of moving it, I'm going to copy it. So I've got that int height right there. I'm just going to go down to here. And I'm going to grab all of this. Okay. Oh, see, that might be it too. I might have gone too far. That's the weight stuff. I don't want that. I just want the height stuff. That probably is where I screwed up before. So let me copy that. Let me come down to here on the bottom. Get rid of that and paste that in. Okay, and again. Oh, I went a little too far and I copied some of the weight stuff as well. There we go. All right. Now, okay. Assign the text box values to the local variable string height. Again, we have to come in here and also say int height equals 0. Okay? All right, I'm not sure exactly why that went gray again, but it's okay. Okay, if the height string is empty, and height string is what's in the text box, put in an error message, set the focus, and return. All right? We can come in here and just return 0. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay? Otherwise, we know there's a value in there, so we try to parse it. If that fails, we'll give an error message, and again, we'll just come in here and we'll return 0. Here's our range check. If it's out of range, we'll again just come in and return 0. All right. Now, I'm going to come back up here because I'm trying to show you, I'm not doing a great job of it, but I'm going to try to show you why this is going to look a lot cleaner. Okay, so this is all the height stuff. We've removed all that from here. Okay, we don't need this height string anymore in here. Okay, so now I'm going to say and we'll fix it. It's giving us an error for result. We'll fix all that in just a moment. So let's see. We're going to call get height. Okay, so we're calling get height here, which is going to send us down over here. We don't have to return anything, so it'll be a private void get height. All right, now we're assigning that. Boom. Okay, now we can just say return there and here and here, and if it all worked, we can now say txt height equals height dot toString. Okay. Let's see, it says the name result is not pool result. So result. I'm not sure what happened there. There, I'll fix that. txt height dot text equals height dot toString. Okay, so we've got all that now. Let's see if we can do the same thing and a little cleaner with the weight. So we will no longer need weight string. We no longer need height here. We no longer need weight here. We're just going to call get weight. All right, so let me copy all of this down till right here. Again, don't worry about the errors. All I'm trying to show you here is how we're hopefully starting to clean this up a little bit. Okay, now this will be a void because we're not returning anything. All right, and this will be string, weight string is equal to the weight, and then we'll also say here int weight equals 0. Let's clean it up and make it look a little nicer here. Do the same thing with the height. All right. So again, this is our get weight. Now, if the wait string is empty, put in an error message, do that, and return. Otherwise, attempt to convert it. Okay. If that fails, you put some junk in there, non-numeric, clear it out, set the focus, and return. If it's out of range, clear it out, set the focus, and return. All right. The only thing we have to add down here is if we get down to this point, we do have a valid weight. So what we will say here is txt weight.text equal weight.toString. So we've got all that done. All right, so we replaced everything that we had in here. All right, we replaced all that, all the code, the stuff that was up here, with just two calls. So call function to input height. In fact, we're even going to say valid height. And this will be call function to input valid weight. All right, now we want to calculate the BMI. So we will call calculate BMI. All right, so where is calculate BMI? There's the get height. There's the get weight. Here's calculate BMI. Oops, I don't know what I did there. So there's get height, there's get weight, and there's calculate BMI. All right, make a simple change. We don't have to return anything, so that'll be another void. All right, so we'll say here double BMI equal, okay, before we calculate it, let's do this. We're going to say height equal, we know it's valid now, so txt height dot text so we'll just say int dot parse. We don't have to check it because we already have. All right, and that's wrong. So that'll be int height. And then int weight equals int dot parse txt weight dot text. So now we have the height and the weight. So double BMI equals that. LBL BMI dot text equals BMI dot toString, and we'll again put it to 2 decimal places. So that's done. So what's left in here? Well, we've got this double BMI. We don't need that anymore. Now we need the BMI status. Okay, that's going to be it. So all we have to do in here, all right, we're saying display all this stuff. This is what we're going to do in just a minute. So we don't need that anymore. We're doing that already. So I'm going to grab all this stuff. So look what we've done to our button. Okay? Rather than doing the work in the button, we're calling functions to do the work for us. All right? And this was what? Output all statistics or something like that. Maybe that's not what I called it, but that's what I'm going to call it now. Print all statistics. Okay, and now I'm going to put this in again. I might get errors if I do. Don't worry about it. All right. So BMI is equal to double dot parse txt BMI dot text. Doesn't like that, so we'll figure it out right now what the problem is. TXT, oh, that's LBL BMI. Okay, so that's done. Cannot go from double. Cannot. Oh, that's, jeez, Jeff. So this is just BMI. Double BMI. Okay. All right, so that fixed all that. And string BMI status, we'll set that equal to nothing. Well, looky, all of our errors are gone. Let's run it, and then we'll go back and look at the entire program. We got time. We're at 30 minutes. So let me do a file, save all here. Let's run it and see if it still works. All right, if I put nothing in there, height text box empty, no value entered, up, and it's still calling the weight too, so that's a problem. So we called calculate BMI. So what we want to do is up here, there. All right, we're always calling this stuff. So if we will set up a height right here. Let's see. We will set up a height and a weight right here. Int height equals 0. Int weight equals 0. Here we'll say height equals get height. Now don't worry about the errors. In my mind, I'm trying to think of the cleanest way to show you how to do this. Okay, we can still do this. Kind of like the way I showed it to you before, so. Oops, sorry. That's there. Return height. Return height. Return height. Return height. All right, that'll fix the first one. Okay, get height. If height not equals 0, call get weight. Sorry. If height not equals 0, call get weight. That's correct. This will be if weight not equal to 0, we will call calculate BMI. All right, and then finally we will call output all statistics. All right, the program is running is why I'm getting the squigglies there, and they'll go away in just a minute. All right, so height equal get height. It's going to return 0 if we put nothing in for the height or a non-numeric or an out of range. So if it's not 0, we can call get weight. All right. So we'll say weight equals get weight. Okay, so we'll have to make the same changes to our weight down here. This will be an int, and again we will return weight. Not exactly the way I would have probably written this if I had given it more thought. It should work without a problem, okay? But there's too many returns, and etc. in here. Now that we have a height and a weight, I'm not going to need these anymore. Now it's going to give me an error because I'm going to have to come in here and say int height, int weight. Okay? Now, I'm going to get an error up here because when I calculate the BMI, I'm going to have to pass in the height and the weight. Okay, so all right, so height equal get height. While height equals 0, we're going to have to call get height. Okay. Height not equals 0. All right, get weight. All right, that's going to keep us in there. So we should be able to just call this now and get rid of that. And then call that as well. Now let's see if I fixed it. And if I did, we're going to come back and discuss every bit of it. All right, nothing in there. No value entered for height. No value entered for height. No value entered for height. Okay, I put myself into an infinite loop. Okay, where I said return height for all of these, I should have just said return 0, except for the last one. So if I have an invalid height, all right, I'm going to return 0 and 0 and 0. Let's just do it right away for the weight as well. All right, let's try running it again. So put nothing in there. Okay, no value entered. Still in an infinite loop. All right, it's because I put it into a loop to begin with, and I guess I shouldn't have done that. All right, so let's see. May not sound like it, but I'm actually having a lot of fun doing this, so. Okay, it is going to be 0. Let's change this to, we'll say height equal get height. Okay. If height not equals 0, let's see, if it is 0, let me stop for just a minute and get my stuff together.